Hello and welcome back to the Purpose Pursuit podcast with me, Hannah Miller, joined by my friend
Laura McClellan.
Hello, Laura.
Hello.
It is a new year. Happy New Year.
Happy
We're
New
proper
Year.
New Year. We're a few days into the new year. Is it new you, new me, new year? What are you supposed to say? New year, new
It's
you?
all of those things.
Are you feeling new you?
Not particularly.
No?
No. Are
Okay. You know, I've said before, I think if we overdo it in January, we're setting
Yeah.
ourselves up for a miserable sense of failure.
Yeah. I personally have never ever stuck to any goal. Or to be honest, I've never actually set January goals really in the first place.
No.
Because I hate any sense of competition or any sense of I just already know the odds are stacked against me that I can keep something up, so what's the point?
And it's obviously the big time where people go again is January, but sometimes people go again beginning of a week, beginning of a month, September. There are moments, aren't there, when we go again and we think, right, this is the moment. It's one of the reasons we wanted the book to come out at Christmas, because we knew lots of people are in the frame of mind where this is a question they're asking. How does life look better this year? What am I going to do differently? How do I make my life look different? But we also wanted to look at this together a little bit differently, because the data isn't great around New Year's resolutions, is it?
It is not. So first of all, there's a day called Quitters Day, which is the second week of January.
Right, well,
so
we're pretty much in that. Hello, Quitters Day.
Hey, Quitters. And also, 80% of New Year's resolutions are usually abandoned by the second week of February.
Okay.
So it is very uncommon for things to last and to stick.
And there is what percentage don't even bother? Is it about 40%?
About 40% of adults in general just feel completely unmotivated
to make change,
can't
make change.
Yeah.
And I think if you've been struggling to make change, it is very easy to just think, well, nothing is going to look any different.
Yeah.
I can't change. I mean, people say it to me all the time. My teenagers say it sometimes, I can't be different. This is who I am. I probably think like that. Am I ever going to be any different? And we feel like we're waiting for some sort of special day where we wake up and suddenly all our ducks are in a row, all our eggs are in their baskets, and our motivation is mega high, and we are just going to smash it.
Yeah, but that is probably not coming.
No. And if it does come, it might last for a day or two, but most people can't sustain that.
Sometimes I get a burst of motivation.
Yeah.
For example, the other day, I did a little workout at home with
I would love to have been a fly on the wall with that one.
I mean, I absolutely...
Were you using a YouTube video or making it up as you went along?
I use my own brain, because I hate the gym. I hate everything about it. So I avoid it at all costs. The only thing I like doing is running, because it's outdoors. But you can't really do that in the winter so much, because it's dark and stuff.
Slippy.
Safety reasons as well,
Yeah.
And so I was doing a little workout at home. I thought, gosh, check me out. And then the next day I went for a run with my husband, and now I can't walk.
No.
So...
And that's a classic example of, let's just go whole hog, motivation high.
Mental.
And then now I can't walk. I can't do another one.
No, not for maybe till next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. That's probably enough now. You must,
that's going to carry me
for
through.
a few months, you need to simmer down. But I reckon we do that. We can go all in when motivation's high, and I can be like, I'm going to do this thing. Exercise is a classic, or it could be eating, or it could be... I don't know, if you want to read more, if you want to meditate, anything that you think, this is going to make my life better, sleep more.
Yeah.
We go all in, I'm going to get this nailed. And then a few days in, life happens, which we talked about the other day, totally derails us. And then we go, well, I may as well not bother. I may as well just give up and go back to where I was.
Yeah. And that can feel quite tiring as well.
Totally.
It can play into narratives that you might speak to yourself.
And I wonder whether you just end up... even at a worse starting place when you've tried and you've failed to if you hadn't tried at all.
Yeah.
It can feel like.
Yeah, definitely. It is demoralising.
And it changes our whole way of looking at things and so on. So we thought we could do New Year, tiny new me as a motivational... Not about this is not about minimising goals. If you want to have a completely new career, or you want to be a famous actress or whatever it might be, it doesn't mean minimising those things, but how do we actually make change? Because the reasons people don't make change is they have unrealistic goals that they can't stick at. they're not specific enough about the what, the how, the plan, and they go all or nothing. So they think, well, unless I can do what I said I was going to do, which was 10K a day, I may as well not even do 10 steps. And so they go all in or go home.
Yeah.
And go big and go home. And I wonder whether we're just trying to say, there's a lot of evidence to say micro shifts, which is what I talk about in the book, over time can make a big difference. So as we go through this today, what's one thing that you think over this year, when you get to December 2026, what would you like to be able to say that was incrementally better than the year before?
Yeah.
Not that you're going to become an Olympian although you can if you want, Laura, but, what would be incrementally better for you?
I've actually got 2 things.
Okay, go for your 2 things. And, you're
I've
putting
already
yourself,
started out too
you're putting
high.
yourself in the, you're saying this out loud to the
I'm
world.
saying this out loud. And I have a massive tendency to be all or nothing and to hold very high expectations and standards and go mental and then
or do nothing.
Just go,
so
oh my
you're
gosh.
going to not do either of those
mate,
this year?
I'm not going to do that.
You're going to practice what you're preaching.
Yes, I am.
Go on then. What are your 2 things?
So my number 1 is that I want to take my vitamin every single day.
Yeah.
Because I don't eat meat and I haven't since I was 12. Miraculously, the ferritin and iron in my blood was actually
pretty good.
My husband's a doctor. He was like, how on earth is it that? Honestly, I'm so smug. But I think I do need to keep taking my vitamins. I've got a multivitamin gummy, obviously.
Obviously a gummy, because if you don't know, if you haven't been following the saga of what is Laura, she can't swallow tablets.
I can't swallow tablets.
So vitamin gummy.
So I'm going to take my vitamin gummy every day. It does not taste fantastic. I'm not going to lie. Anything with iron in, however much they want to make it taste like a raspberry, it tastes like blood in your mouth.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
So that's what I need to do. I already know how I'm going to try and do it. But we can come back to that.
Circle back.
And then my second one is I want to get more steps in, because I also have a tendency in the week, when I'm working from home and stuff, to not really do any steps. And then on a weekend,
you do steps.
I'll do loads of steps. But actually, I want to keep it up within the week as well.
Yeah, realistically, keep it up in the week. Okay, so I think I'll pick 2 things as well then to keep up with you. Mine are sort of related. One is I would like to get more sleep next year. I don't think, and that's kind of related to bedtime more than it is the concept of sleep, because I'm not an insomniac. Sometimes I am, but not generally. I don't think I'm quite getting the sleep I need. And I also think, kind of attached to that, I've done some improvement this year. I charge my phone not near the bed anymore, but I think I want to decrease the screen time and increase the kind of window when it isn't available to me.
Yeah.
Pick up times, that kind, that the absent-minded, I'll just have another check.
Yeah.
That's what I want to work on this year, because I think for me, with the way my brain's wired, it makes me go ping, ping. It's like inside my brain is like one of those machines where what they're called, pinball machine.
Yeah.
I think my brain is that's a really good description of my brain, isn't it? A pinball machine. And I don't think that helps matters for me.
Yeah.
And if you haven't read TJ Power's book, this is a side point, but TJ Power's book called The Dose Effect is the best explanation of what's going on inside our brains that I think's out there. His Instagram's brilliant too, TJ Power. At TJ Power. Yeah, look at some of his stuff. So if we're thinking about those things this year, and we're not going to go ridiculous and be like, right, that's it, I'm going to bed at 8 every night, I'm never going to go out, I'm never going to touch my phone again, I'm never going to deviate from that pattern, I will last about 3 days.
Yeah.
And also, if you set a ridiculous steps target and a ridiculous, your vitamin one, that one, I mean, that one, you've just got to do that. But we're going to pick up some tips from some of the work of some legends to help us with this and to help you with this. We're going to talk about, I want to talk about my idea first, which is 12 things over the year. This is an idea I've got. I maybe will blog about this. Maybe this week's blog will be about this. I think there's a really good principle of having 12 small things over the year that we might like to embed, and we add one every month. So if you start doesn't mean you can't walk in January, but that you're your January, you are allowed.
You're banning me.
No walking, no sleeping, no reading, no good, you know, any of those things. You can only take your vitamin. But that the focus is that you smash that goal. Your vitamin is in place every single day for the 31 days of Jan.
Yeah.
Then in February, you say, right, now I'm going to add in a focus on meeting a steps target 5 days out of 7. I also think when we go for 7 days out of 7, those are unrealistic targets, by the way.
Interesting.
Because you just then feel disappointed on the day you don't do it, so then you don't do for days. Whereas if you set yourself some wiggle room, like I'm going to reach a step target 5 days in 7, you're way more likely to do more than a 7-day target, which you then do 2 days.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And this idea is that then the next month you might add something else, which is I'm going to read for 10 minutes before bed. Tiny thing, add. And then the next month, what else could you add?
Yeah.
Wash your face before bed. Like, that's something that I should do.
Have you still not done that?
Not brilliantly. Occasionally I do, and I think I'm amazing when I do.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
that's
could do
good.
that. Could be my January
We'll start
habit.
somewhere, don't we?
Washing my face.
Yeah.
I really should, in honour of my
You've
mother.
got amazing skin considering you don't
Considering I'm
wash
just a
your face.
scumbag. Well, you know, but that's a small thing. Add it in, do another. So, as you're listening, maybe you could track out or think about what are some things you'd love to get better at over the year, and how do you allow yourself just to focus really, really stringently on one thing or another. So that was just an idea. So let's think about some more things why tiny beats dramatic.
Yeah.
Okay, let's think about that together. So, in one of the books we're talking about today, which is called Tiny Habits by
BJ Fogg.
BJ Fogg. Interesting name, BJ Fogg. I don't know whether BJ Fogg is a man or a woman.
It's a man.
Do you know that?
I've Googled him.
Okay.
Can confirm.
Did you, because you didn't know, is it because you wanted to know if it was a man or a woman?
Yeah, it's a man.
Okay.
What a name.
BJ Fogg.
Yeah.
Fogg, double G. So BJ Fogg, and the other book we're going to talk about is James Clear's classic Atomic Habits. If you read one book this year, read or listen to that book, or at least read an executive summary, because it is really good. But
I've actually just realised why it's called Atomic Habits.
come on.
Because atomic is really small.
That's right.
I've just realised. For ages I was like,
Yeah,
why is it
but
called
powerful.
Atomic
But
in my head I
powerful.
was just
The
thinking of a
atom.
bomb.
Yeah,
So I was thinking that's kind of
a bit
of a
aggressive
strange, yeah.
for the book.
It's because it's small.
Yeah, it's
I
an
see what you did
atom.
there.
I see what you did. But it is the idea of powerful.
Yes,
Small but
small but
powerful.
mighty.
Small but mighty. That's what we are.
Yes.
And our little company, Small but Mighty. Oh my gosh, we so deviate from things, don't we? Now, one of the things that BJ Fogg talks about, and to be fair, so does James Clear, is this thing that we rely far too much on feeling motivated. In fact, I have this conversation with my teenagers regularly around when motivation is lacking, because if we have put all our sort of emphasis on I need to feel motivated in order to do this, when we don't feel motivated, there's nothing else in play. So the model that BJ Fogg talks about is your behaviour equals motivation plus ability plus prompt. B equals map. Motivation.
Ability. Prompt.
Okay. So ability, okay? That is your ability to do it. So are you able to swallow a gummy tablet every day?
I can't swallow one, but I can chew it.
Chew one. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
for you, this is a low bar.
This
but
is
can
low
you
bar.
chew and swallow a tablet? So have you got the ability to get a gummy out of a jar? And I don't know why I'm being so like this with you, because to be honest, I'm an absolute horror at taking my tablets.
It's crazy because it's
I'm
such
really,
an easy
really-
thing. But
Why is it? Why don't we do it? Like my sister's really
yeah.
good. She always takes
I
them.
am just totally out the habit. I do the thing where I have it for like 3 days in a row and I'm like, wow, I feel so much
Look at
better.
me.
I can feel the iron in my blood raising as we speak. And then I don't do it for ages.
I don't know what it. I even remember to do it, and then I go, oh, I'm not
Do
going
you
to do
know
it.
what the main thing is though? I have bought a new packet because I'd ran out of my other one and I've put it in the bathroom like cupboard. Rather than, like, I never go in that cupboard.
Well, that's
I literally
silly.
don't go in that cupboard.
Okay.
So now I'm going to move it downstairs to the tea cupboard. So when I make a cup of tea, the only thing is actually I've just realised you're not meant to have iron when you have a cup of tea because it completely rules it all out. It like swallows
Does
it all
it?
up. Yeah. But I need to put it in a cupboard.
Okay, but it
or
would still be
something in
better
the
to take it then
kitchen.
than not take it at all.
Very true, very true. But I need to move it downstairs to a cupboard that I actually open.
Okay, so the ability is there. That's what
Yeah,
we've just
the
discussed.
ability
I
is
mean, it
there.
doesn't seem to be because we don't know where it is at the moment. But let's pretend you are able to swallow your tablet.
Yeah.
I am able to swallow my tablets, which I also don't do. I've got a vitamin D spray. I can't even bring myself to spray under my tongue. It's that easy. And I do think there's something really weird about lack of care over self there.
Yeah. No, I agree.
If it was my children, I'd be spraying it under their tongue, going, "Do it, drink," every single day.
Yeah.
There is a weird extra behaviour there. Now, then the prompt thing is this thing which is like an anchor, which means that we're like, so you just talked about that.
Yeah.
Put it by the T.
Yeah.
Like people say, do your pelvic floor when you turn the taps on. I mean, I never do it when I turn the taps on, but when people say the word pelvic floor, I do that. I'm doing it right now. But you need a prompt that you associate it with. So if there's something you want to try and bring into your life, say, when I do this, that's when I'll do that. Like, for example, let's say I don't want to use my phone after a certain time. I could say, when I put the dishwasher on at night, that's when I plug my phone in and turn it off. Because that always happens in the sort of final half an hour of bed, is the dishwasher's ready to go on, and I could say, when I do that, I do that.
Or you could say, if I light a candle when I start settling down for bed or something like that, or turn a lamp on.
Yeah,
that's it.
That
That's a cut
signals
off.
a cut off.
Yeah.
So it talks about adding something to what you already do, adding it to it, because the prompt anchors it in your behaviour. So again, if you want to read more, you anchor that with your book is by your bedside, and when you get into bed, you pick up your book, and you have to get into bed. It's like an actual definite, unless you're very, very
hope
weird.
so.
Jude went through this phase where he decided he thought we should all sleep on the floor. I think it came from YouTube videos.
Is that like the Liver King guy?
Probably. I think
He lies
was
on
somebody
wooden
who lies on a
planks.
wooden plank, but he
Yeah.
has been known to be, I think he's like, I don't want to be liable, but Google it yourself. So prompts that help us do things. So the first thing we've talked about is ability. Make it easy. So obviously the vitamin is really easy.
Yeah.
The steps thing would be actually having a goal that is doable and not really, really challenging. Not so doable that you're doing it already, and not so challenging that you're like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
I think it's finding that.
Yeah.
And then you attach it to something that you would be doing anyway, or a period of the day where you know you've got the space to do that. And that then means that you are relying less on motivation, because what they're trying to say is, simply put, if you don't anchor it to something else, if you don't make it easy, your motivation will wane, and then you definitely won't do it. Whereas if you add the three things in, you are increasing your likelihood of doing that. So make it easy, make it tiny, make it quick. So, like, for example, in the book, it talks about how if you want to floss your teeth as well as brush them, start by saying, I'm just going to floss. I'm just going to floss. I'm just going to floss one tooth, however you might say it. Tooth. I'm only going to floss one. And I have found myself do that before, where I've said, I'm just going to run around the block. And then you might find you do more. But if you start by saying something that you know you're going to achieve, actually that is just so much better than slogging yourself. And obviously those goalposts move. So if you started off with, I'm just going to run around the block, that will no longer be then just the easy in a year later or 6 months later. So if you're listening to this, think about, what can you anchor, whatever you want to change, what can you anchor it to? How can you decrease your reliance on your motivation, and how can you make it really, really easy? Now, this is the other thing that's really interesting, is the psychology behind this, because our brains love wins, they don't love effort.
Yeah.
Unless you're very weird, most people's brains love wins and not effort. There are a few weird individuals, I would put my eldest son in this category, that really loves weird amounts of effort. Like, he would rather run up a hill or ride his bike up a hill. But most people's brains don't work. Most people's brains do not work like that, and we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to weirdos. So your brain loves wins, not effort. that's why we put little to-do lists together and we tick them off.
Yeah, me and Hannah have to-do list notebooks.
We do.
And they're really cute, and they have little boxes, and you can tick either side, you can prioritise.
Can I just say, yours is immaculate and mine looks like it belongs to Animal
You
from
write
the
like
Muppets.
really important things on.
Yeah, I do. I use it in a slightly erratic way.
Yeah,
but
sometimes I write arrive to work on it, and then I tick it.
Because your brain loves wins, not effort.
Yeah.
That's exactly
and it makes
that.
sense.
Sometimes we put things on that we've already done. Sometimes when I've got a big job to do, I will break it down on that checklist into smaller things so that I feel a sense of momentum. Yeah. Actually, I think that's a real hack. If you've got a big job to do and it's not just about write an email, think about it in little sections, because your brain lacks the dopamine that comes. That is why we do things. That is why our phones have got pings on them. That is why notifications pop up. All of that is designed for us to feel like there's interest, there's dopamine being released.
Yeah.
So that is why we should celebrate tiny habits and not feel that it has to be a massive thing in order for it to feel like a win.
Yeah. I actually saw online you can get adult reward charts, and they're actually really popular. Like really popular. Oh, I'd absolutely love it. Actually, it reminds me when I was studying my degree, my lovely friend B made me a reward chart for all of my final assignments in third year, and she gave me a pack of stickers so I could add it into each one once the assignment was done, because I was just having a bit of a dreadful time.
You were having a dreadful time.
And so yeah, I can actually see why the incremental, the tiny things, and then rewarding it, it really does make you think, oh, I want another sticker in my chart.
And I think if you did your vitamin gummy every day, David, I'm sure, would celebrate you. We could do an award ceremony for you.
Yeah, we could. Star of the week.
Star of the week. Laura did that. All joking aside, we're not suggesting we celebrate every time. Oh, look at me, I'm breathing, I got out of bed. But it is about seeing it as, this is the thing that I'm trying to do. This is the small... There is resistance to building new habits. Like, we are not designed to keep building new habits, most of us. So there's resistance. So building the habit is the hard work. And then when it's in place, the problem is they can also die really easily too. I've found that. I cold plunged every single day till we went to Tanzania, every single day for that whole year. And then I fell off the wagon. I am the sort of person that I'm a bit all or nothing. So I then have to for me, actually, tiny streaks are really good for me. Yeah. Streak mentality. Yeah. That's why people have Duolingo streaks or Wordle streaks or whatever it might be. There's something about, but I think you have to keep it small in order to do streaks. Otherwise, there's that guy, what's his name? Is it Chris Gilbo who's done this? Or is it Martin Lewis who's done this, the money saving man? Or is it both of them? They're completely unrelated men. That they've ran 5K every single day for something like 3 years.
Martin Lewis has done he's like walked 10K steps every single day.
That's right.
I think he skipped one day where he was like dying. Really unwell, but apart from that, I've definitely read that.
And I have, and I think that is to do with the mentality of the streak there. Now, that's quite a high bar, but he's quite a high achieving individual. We don't have to compare ourselves to Martin Lewis, money saving expert, but the principle of him having that feeling of streak. But the problem is, do we need to fall off the wagon if we miss a streak?
Absolutely not.
No. So if you're like me and you fall off the wagon if you miss a streak, that is a poor thinking behaviour. Because one day is one day. Not doing something for a month because you didn't do it for a day is just a bit silly, isn't it?
And what would you tell a friend?
You'd say, just get back on the wagon.
You would.
Don't let yourself don't derail and let the wagon ride over your head, which is what I do. I fall off the wagon and go, why don't you just kill me with it instead? Come on, reverse back over my head. No, and I think I'm learning that a little bit more, that actually, although streaks can be good for our mentality, if there's reasons why they can't happen, why on earth do we then decide the whole thing wasn't worth it anymore? It's a bit mad, really. Yeah. You've got to work with how your brain works. In fact, why don't we talk about that a little bit?
Let's talk about that.
I think there's a whole element to change in our life and building habits and building change where you've got to think about the person you are. How is your brain wired? Are you a social person? Are you a learner? Are you data driven? Are you competitive? Are you talkative? Are you humorous? Are you into novelty? Are you somebody who likes routine?
Yeah.
All you have to take in that information in order to find a way that works. Going back to the Martin Lewis example, I bet there's part of his personality which likes to build on rhythm and routine.
Yeah.
There are other people who wouldn't want to do a street because they much prefer novelty.
Yeah. For example, if we're talking strengths, someone might be more adaptable.
Yeah.
And they might just, the discipline and the
They might
consistency.
want a different type of activity every month.
Exactly. That will be too much. That was not fun for them, just in general. Whereas I like achieving things. I love ticking things off. So I can actually play to that.
You could be a bit streaky.
Absolutely. Oh.
A streaker.
I say. But I could
I could see how that could play into it.
And I can get into things. So I think sometimes then I do go the other way. I do have the ability. There's part of me that wants to say steps. Oh no, I'm going to sign up to an ultra marathon.
Yeah, that's
and I'm
just
going to
stupid.
buy a whole new outfit and a wardrobe of outfits, and we're going to do ultra marathons up mountains all day long. And then another part of me can't even take a vitamin every day.
Exactly.
So there is definitely an in-between. And for me, now I'm thinking about my personality, I think having a bit of structure and a bit of realism of actually, why don't I just go for a walk on my lunch breaks? Like when I'm working from home.
Why don't we go for a walk ever?
Yeah, Hannah. Why don't we?
I mean, literally, why don't we?
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. We both have parks right next to us.
I don't understand why we don't think we're allowed.
Yeah. We work so hard.
We do work so hard. We never possibly talk about anything else. So think about your personality too. What's going to help you? I meet friends with our dogs for a walk. That definitely ups the ante of me going early in the morning, 100%. Would I necessarily do that early in the morning without? Well, I would eventually because I have a dog and she has to be walked. But would it necessarily be a morning? How do we increase our likelihood? It's anchors. Yeah. It's connecting it to something you want to do. And not relying on, I'm going to do hard things all the time. Because actually, we are not necessarily wired to always wanting to do hard things. And yet we are capable of doing hard things. If you they talk in these books about removing resistance. James Clear talks about if you want to go for a run when you first get up in the morning, put your exercise clothes by your bed and untie your shoelaces and put them there. Like if that's what you want to do first, do not make it impossible for you to know where your things are. Remove resistance. So it doesn't have to be about exercise, it can be about whatever you want. If I want to go to bed without my phone in my room, I need to remove the because then I'm removing the resistance. If it's not there, and you can also get things to lock yourself out of your own phone. There's all sorts of devices for doing that. If I put that in place, I'm removing the reliance on my own willpower. I think there's probably something good to be said about we've got to rely less on our own willpower, thinking that that's going to somehow one day appear, because most of the time it doesn't. Not for things we actually want to do. It's hard enough for people who have actual addictive personalities or have an addiction, let alone you know what it feels like when you think, why have I just done that for half an hour?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're like, I'm really cross with myself because nothing within me wanted to, but I did it anyway. Why do we think a day's going to come where suddenly we just go, I feel free?
Yeah.
We're not going to. No. So we have to do things that stop us. So put the resistance in place or remove the resistance depending on what kind of thing it is. And the other thing that comes through Atomic Habits and James Clear's work is this idea of identity. He talks about, this is a bit more purposeful, about thinking about the person you want to become. And he actually talks about using language like, I am a this, I am a reader. If you're somebody who wants to read more, to use that like, I'm a reader, and to talk like that rather than, we could just be deluding ourselves. But this idea of not using language like I'm not capable of that or I'm not that yet. He very much talks about building identity.
It's like what you talk about in the book, fixed and all or nothing, growth mindsets. And actually the words you speak over yourself and that you tell yourself do become a narrative, don't they? Of I can't do this. And you also talk about, I can't do this yet.
That's right.
As a thing.
That's right. Well, that's very much Cal Dweck talked about, that idea of, I can't do this yet, but I do believe. It's essentially saying you do believe you can. There is a problem though with this. If you tell everyone your New Year's resolutions, or you say, I'm going to do this year, this big thing, if we tell too many people, you actually reduce the likelihood of it happening.
Really?
Yeah. There's something about being really careful about how much you broadcast it. Because the reason is, if you start, I don't think you would, because people would think you were very weird that your New Year's resolution was to take a vitamin every day. But if you start telling all your friends that that's your New Year's resolution, we start getting the dopamine hit from it as if
Before
we've achieved
done
it.
Okay, yeah.
Because we start to feel really good. I mean, maybe not the vitamin one, because that's a small thing. But let's say if you said, I'm gonna do 15,000 steps a day, which is a massive goal.
Yeah.
And you said, I'm going to do that every day of this year. And people start going, wow, Laura, that's amazing. The problem with that is we start to feel the sense of reward as if it's happened. So that's a watchword. Be careful. There are things I've done that I haven't told anybody about ever, or I have way, way after. Like, it came up the other day in front of some friends that I'd done the Oxford Half a few years ago. Nobody knew I'd done it because I didn't want the pressure.
Yeah.
And I also, it was years ago, but also I knew if I started talking about it, it was probably going to reduce the likelihood of me doing it and doing it for the wrong reasons. It was a personal goal for me. And when we say I did the half marathon, I was slow as a slow thing. Now, I like this thing as well, going back to I talk about micro shifts in the book, and we're talking about micro shifts now. I really want you to hear that today at the beginning of January. What are your micro shifts? I love this example from Atomic Habits about the British cycling team, Team GB. Laura didn't know this, did you?
No, I didn't.
So maybe some of you don't know this, but Atomic Habits is all about incremental improvement, and it's based on the work of the performance of Team GB cycling team. So as most of us would know, Team GB became an incredibly successful cycling team. They became unbeatable, and the Dave Brailsford, who led that team, he talks about his whole approach was 1% incremental gains. And he took every single bit of the cycling process, every single bit about being on the road as a cyclist, i.e. travelling, being on tour, the whole eating, sleeping, training, the equipment, the team coach, every single bit. And he looked at each one and he thought, how could we make each of these things 1% better than they are? And that was what the team focused on. Probably a maximizer character.
Yeah.
Taking something good and making it great, not just fixing broken things. And you may have thought each one of those things in isolation won't make a difference, but all of them together meant that they became an unstoppable team. And the same goes for us. If I want to be, let's say my overall goal is health for this year, let's say, and I add in a habit every month, 12 habits over the year. And you might say, on its own, eating a vitamin every day is not going to overhaul Laura's life as much as she'd like it to.
Aww.
But if she does that, she increases her steps. If she thinks about her sleep, if she does a bit of stretching, But little amounts, 5 minutes 3 times a week. 5 minutes 3 times a week is a lot of minutes in a year. And so those things all added together mean, I'm in a stronger, healthier position, or whatever aspect of your life you want to choose. It doesn't have to be health. What do you think when you think about that story?
I mean, I think personally, like, I just wouldn't think that deeply about things of like going into the intricate.
I know. Helmets, tyres.
I'd be like,
mattresses they
does
slept
it
on?
even make a difference? Who can, like, that level of intricacy and bothering about the small things like that?
I know.
I mean, it is amazing. It really is, and clearly it works.
And I think what we're trying to say today is not to despise the small beginnings. Don't despise small shifts. Just think, what can I do right now in front of me that I'm more likely to actually sustain than what's a massive goal that I may well find I can't do, I can't keep up with. That is not to say things don't get closer that feel really, really far away and feel like really big goals. They could come much closer to where you are. Like, even if I just think about writing the book, that started once upon a time of deciding to weekly blog. So the weekly blog felt like a massive challenging goal, but that was the first one. And then the bigger goal became, now we're going to write a draft of the book, which of course was chapter at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, as the famous phrase goes.
And now the Purpose Pursuit film is coming.
It is. Yeah, who's going to be in it, Laura?
Who did you mention earlier?
Florence Pugh, we like her.
Martin Lewis.
Although Martin Lewis comes in. Martin Lewis and Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
They're the perfect.
They're the lead.
Perfect lead team for this. Okay, so think about, here's some reflection prompts. Some reflection prompts for you to finish. What is one area of your life that you can have a micro shift in? What would your 1% improvement be in that area of your life? How are you going to track it? That's really, really important. And what identity are you gently growing into? That's saying something like, I'm the kind of person who walks every day. I'm the kind of person who gets enough sleep. It's as gentle as that. I'm the kind of person who loves to read books, whatever it might be. I'm the kind of person who doesn't feel attached to my phone all the time. Whatever it is you want to be, you start airing that language and using it. And maybe we could check in with everyone and say how we're doing a bit later in the year. So mine was sleep and phone, and yours was walking and vitamins.
Yeah.
Let's see. And well, maybe at the end of this quarter, the first term,
Yeah.
we'll see how we've got on, and we'll be honest with the public.
I'll let everyone know about my ferritin levels.
Ferritin levels? I thought you were going to talk about your ferret. No. Like a furry ferret.
Maybe that's another goal for next year.
No, I don't think you and ferrets should ever be a goal.
No, probably not.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye-bye.